Welcome everyone to the 7th round of the Sinquefield Cup 2025. On your screen is Grandmaster Alireza Firouzja and he takes on Praggnanandhaa. It's going to be an exciting clash between two amazing young talents. The game is about to begin, a handshake, and off we go. Firouzja with white opens with 1 e4 and Praggnanandhaa goes for the Sicilian, showing his intention to fight for the top spot. He's half a point behind Fabiano Caruana. Knight comes out to f3. And Pragg plays his knight to c6. The open Sicilian is with the move d4. But Firouzja goes for the Sicilian Rosolimo. One of the main openings of this tournament. We have had so many fights in this line with both Pragg and Gukesh playing it. And Pragg even playing this from the white side. He goes g6, white castles. And now brings his bishop to g7. He would love to play the pawn to e5. Pawn comes up to c3. Well, there are 2-3 ways to play. Knight f6 is one of the moves here. But Pragg has shown inclination towards going for this line with e5. Now d4 is one of the main moves here, a pawn sacrifice, but Firouzja takes on c6 and you can take back with the b pawn and the d pawn, although taking back with the d pawn is the more stable approach. D takes c6 has been taken, opening up the bishop here, pawn comes up to d3, and this is very interesting the way Firouzja plays here. You try to keep the position closed, queen comes to e7. You get your knight from d2 to c4. You play on the queen side with a4, b4. And that's how you create play with the white pieces. Knight comes to d2. And Pragg now has 1 hour 28 minutes. But this is the moment where he starts to think quite a bit deeply. And after nearly 10 minutes of thought, he comes knight to f6. This does block the bishop here on g7. But I guess the knight has to be rerouted. Knight d7 seems like a good move. a4 played here by Alireza. And black simply castles here. a4, the idea is to gain space on the queen side. a5 could be played here. Knight c4 attacking the pawn. And now Pragg has two options, knight d7, knight h5, even knight e8. 3 options for his knight. He goes knight e8. This seems a bit passive and it feels like, why is he doing this? But the knight wants to trade off with the knight on c4. Alireza stops it with bishop e3 because now knight d6, the c5 pawn would be hanging. But Pragg says, my knight was anyway planning to go from c7 to e6 perhaps there. And now Firouzja plays pawn to h3, a useful move, just stopping all these ideas of bishop g4 and waiting for Pragg to show his cards. Pragg makes rook d8, a very useful move. He's very good at such moves, Praggnanandhaa, not forcing the issue but improving the position. Queen comes up to c2. And now here black plays pawn to b6. So the idea of this move is to bolster the queenside structure. And a5 you can go b5. And Firouzja now goes for a very interesting pawn sacrifice. In fact, it's not a pawn sacrifice because after pawn takes pawn, if you take with the queen, then e5 pawn is hanging. So here the move that Pragg finds beautiful, knight a6. Attacking the pawn here, if you play b5, I go knight b4, queen b1, c5, and black is doing quite well. That's the reason why Firouzja tries to defend this pawn with bishop d2. But now Pragg chops off the pawn, knight takes b4. He is putting good pressure on Firouzja. Bishop takes b4, queen takes b4. Black is already doing very well now. Now Alireza has to pick up the pawn, or else why did he give one? So knight e5, he takes it, but look at this bishop. spitting fire on the long diagonal. It's just so strong. So Pragg can actually go back now to d6. It's a very, very nice move. He finds it. And very important for white to take the pawn here, attacking the rook, so that if you take here, I can take your rook. Queen d3 is the best move in this position, and the position is roundabout even, but Firouzja goes wrong. He plays d4 and he feels like he is stabilizing his knight on e5, but it's not the case. Now black has a very strong move, exactly c5. And the cool point is that after d takes c5, you don't need to take here, you can just go back, and the knight on e5 is super shaky. So rook fd1 played, maybe trying to create some play with d takes c5 and looking here. He goes bishop to b7. With this, the pawn on e4 is under pressure. D takes c5, there's queen c7 played. That can be played here. And Alireza finds the move which puts the most pressure on Pragg. a5 played. Of course, c takes d4 doesn't really help here. Rook a c8, now threatening c takes d4 with the queen being attacked. So the queen comes to b3, launching an attack on the f7 pawn. The game is now very, very intense at this point. He goes queen c7, defending the pawn, and Alireza takes a b6. Pragg takes back a b6 here. And Firouzja, look at the time on his clock. He's down to 3 minutes 30 seconds. He comes here with rook a7 with 2 minutes 35 seconds. Praggnanandhaa has 8 minutes. He takes the knight on e5. Here, knight takes e5 is the best move, but he plays d takes e5, and now c4 is just winning. c4, rook is hanging, so rook takes rook, rook takes rook, queen c3 and b5, and look at these strong pawns. It's completely winning here. So c4, can Pragg find it? It's the best move here. He's thinking he has 6 minutes to figure this out. No, he takes on d1, which is a mistake. And Firouzja takes back, queen takes d1. And now the point is, Pragg goes c4, but queen d6 is a very strong move. Take, and when you go c2, I have d7. Otherwise, if bishop e4, I have somehow rook e7 and I'm able to hold this. But instead, Firouzja blunders with queen a4. He doesn't find queen d6. He goes queen a4 and he misses a key point here, which is that black can now push the pawn down the board to c3. So very important moment now. c3 can be played. He finds it. Pawn to c3. And you have to stop this pawn from queening. Maybe there's knight e1. He goes knight d4, which is more active in general. But it's not a good move. Because now rook d8 is just game over. And look at Pragg there, all focused. He finds it. The threat, rook takes d4, rook takes d4, c2, c1, queen. He plays e6. And the idea is, if rook takes d4, there are all these rook b7 ideas. Pragg takes it. What a nice move. If knight takes e6, there is c2 and c1 queen. And this is winning. What a beautiful line calculated by Praggnanandhaa. So he takes on b7, Firouzja. 30th move here. Queen takes b7. Knight takes on e6. He's attacking the rook, but there are so many moves that win. In just rook c8 is also winning. But Pragg, I think, finds the most accurate move. Queen d7, offering a queen trade. No way to win the knight. Knight is attacked here. Even threatening queen d1 check. And this is all over. Firouzja is lost. And Pragg, as always, opens his bottle of water and drinks it and wins the game. Alireza Firouzja resigns and Praggnanandhaa scores a very important win, equalizing at the top of the table in the Sinquefield Cup 2025 with Fabiano Caruana. With 2 rounds to go, Pragg has all the chances to win this tournament. His 2 opponents are Wesley So and Levon Aronian. And if Pragg manages to keep his momentum going, he might well come close to 2800 ELO as well as winning this tournament. A great win with the black pieces for the Indian youngster.